Okay. 1 second. There we go. All right, cool. Now we look like we're working to me. All right, that was all my energy for the day. Sorry, that was it. Spent, gone. Uh, right in the trash. So yeah, what do we got today? A little bit later than normal stream. Slept in. Stopped playing game with my husband late last night, and just not feeling a lot of big energies today. So I'm gonna be taking it nice and easy, and just do a nice little chill hobby stream on a bunch of different projects that I think should be fun. Also, um, I think I got my other camera working again, so it should be nice and clear for this painting. It should be pretty good. So yeah. So what do we got today? Well, we've got to do some grasses because, as you can see, um, I started to finally flock these damn trees. So I've got a new method that I kind of want to show off. I want to see if it works on the big tree. I really like how this looks. I think that looks really cool, and it's nice and hard too in most places. Just pretty dope. So, um, yeah, I think that looks really cool. I think it looks like a, I don't know, a pretty kind of normal looking tree to be honest. But before we get into the grasses, I think I actually wanted to play with my building a little bit from last time, a little bit more. Still not super happy with this ground color, gonna be honest. So I think we're gonna work on that a little bit, and I think I want to do some verdigris on the copper. I think. Um, Also, I'm finally making progress on this meat dragon. A couple more things I want to touch up on him, but he's coming along nice. He's a multi-part magnetic, like swappable piece dragon from Dragon Trapper's Lodge. It's kind of like a Franken dragon. You can kind of switch all the different pieces out if you want. It's pretty darn cool to be honest. Um, he's been on my desk like partly painted forever, so I basically restarted him last night and made some pretty good progress that I'm happy with. One of the things that frustrates me about him is that a lot of the plugs are a little thicker than the holes. So what I probably really should do is just cut all the plugs off, to be honest. Um, I think that would work pretty good. But I also don't super mind a little bit of the gap. That's why I made a point to paint everything on the insides. So, but yeah, they're pretty fun. They're pretty damn cool, and he's fully magnetized, which is really fun. So, maybe I have these on the wrong sides. Oh, I guess really. I guess either side works, huh? Kinda. But yeah, very fun. Um, kind of interchangeable dragon. So we're gonna do some more work on him, kind of some more fancier painted bits. Not really that fancy, but fancier at least than what we're stuff we're gonna do. So, and then if I still have some energy, I kind of want to play some not play. I want to paint some BattleTech. To be honest, it's been this stupid phone game called Mecharashi or something that I've been getting spammed with ads for. Um, but to be completely honest, it's made me want to paint some mechs. I'll be super upfront. Stupid ads have been working. Like I don't want to play their game, but it makes me want to do stuff with mechs. All right, this one I gotta hit the spinner for. Give me a sec. Hit in the page shaker for that one. so might as well hit it for this one too. I don't think this one needs it, but we'll try it. So my husband got me this paint shaker for my birthday. It's kind of cool. It's like some kind of weird vibrator. It looks vaguely like a sex toy, I'm not gonna lie. But what it does is it actually works with magnets, and it grabs the ball bearing that's in the thing and like spins it around. It's really neat. So, all right. So what do we got here? A couple different kinds of verdigris. So, I've got the green rust from Vallejo, and then I've got verdigris from Warpaints. So this stuff is a little thicker and kind of chunkier. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this and dab it on certain spots. And then we're going to hit it with the green rust. Because that's more of kind of like a wash. So once it dries, we'll hit it with the green rust. And kind of go from there. But we want to just kind of get little bits in. Or she'll stand out, right? And kind of the bigger areas, they're going to be the green rust, really. But yeah, just a little bit of verdigris on the copper would look kind of cool. For these cool ass Willy Wonka buildings. I'm trying to put it around like the fittings and stuff. Just trying to get some kind of lighter bits of it. Not anything fancy there. So really the other one is going to be our main, it's going to be our main touch up there. So. But yeah, this is kind of a chunky kind of paint. Feels kind of like a rust paint, to be honest. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense given that it's, you know, oxidized copper, just like rust is oxidized metal. But, you know, I don't know. It's not like a wash or something like you'd probably expect. So, all right. So I still don't like this water. Still not a fan of the water. So what we are gonna do is I'm gonna get some stippling effect in there, and we're gonna do a little bit of stippling. That's what we're gonna do. So I've got my little melon pot. This held ice cream. This is like a Japanese ice cream holder. And we're going to use that for our brush. So I'm going to get out the green paint. Is it this one or is it this one? Sick green, I'm assuming. I'm going to get out the green paint that I used. And what we're going to do is we're going to water it down a bunch. And then we're going to kind of stipple it around. I'm going to add a bunch of water to it. And mix that up. And we're going to kind of stipple that around. End up seeing how she looks. A little bit of water, and it should make it a little more transparent as it dries. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how she does. I do still like the kind of darker shadow that we got. I just don't like the rest of the because the rest of this kind of like swishy effect that's on it, that is it's kind of like the same wash that we used mixed with some of the speed paint that we used. That like mummified grime speed paint. And it's cool, it seemed like a good idea, but honestly the speed paint dried faster than the wash. So as I was trying to move the wash around, what ended up happening was that I ended up tearing the speed paint bits that were in it because it dried a little faster than the wash did. So I ended up getting like a bunch of streaks and dots and stuff that I just didn't want. So A little bit of this kind of like watery stippling should give us kind of more of like a mottled texture too, which is honestly probably pretty cool. Um, it should make it kind of look like a little bit cloudier water, I think, or at least that's the intent. So we'll try it out. We'll see if it works. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, I'm sure it'll look better than it was, you know? I'll be honest, I have not done a ton of hobby this week. It again was a very, very busy week at work. And then um, I started playing Warframe again, and that, I swear, like, you want to talk about a game that I really feel addiction for? Holy shit, it's Warframe. Um, that game can just eat so much time. Like, I was legitimately debating not streaming today just because I wanted to play Warframe. Um, and to be honest, like, I've only not streamed for pretty much pretty major events in my life that were bad. So, yeah, that tells you something. That tells you how addicted to that fucking game I am. And yeah, I saw that Pazzo is doing a Warframe expansion for Starfinder, and oh my god, would I love Warframe minis. Oh, I would love them more than anything else. Like a multi-part plastic Grineer kit. That's all I want. Oh, it would be so phenomenal. Having multi-part plastic Grineer. Oh, or multi-part plastic Corpus. Oh, I don't even need the Warframes. I really just want the other guys. You know, like it would be really cool to have the Warframes too, but they're the least like modeling, in my opinion, interesting part of that. Like I would love to have just some of the generic troops. I think it would be so dope. Alright, I'm just gonna still this around, use up what's little bits left, that kind of stuff. Should give us. I think this is actually gonna look pretty dope. So we'll see. Let's see here in a little bit when she starts to dry a little more. So we should have some kind of like darker spots, some like kind of like lighter spots, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what she looks like in a minute. It won't take her too long to dry, but it will take her a little bit longer than normal to dry because of the amount of water that we're using. So I'm just kind of going around the dark spot right now, trying to make sure the edge is kind of smeary because I think it'll look cooler. That's the case. Go. Okay. All right, now we can set this sucker off to the side, and we'll come back to her when she's all dry. Our actually no, let's do our green rust now. Um, let's do our green rust paint now. Okay. So this stuff is much more wash-like. Um, so it actually is pretty cool to use in conjunction with the one from Army Painter. So the Army Painter one kind of gives you the highlights, and then this kind of gives you like kind of the blend with it and kind of brings the highlight down a little bit. It's pretty cool. This is kind of a similar method to what I used for all of my Old Dominion for what's that game called? Conquest. I grabbed a starter set that was on sale for Conquest. I really need to finish it. I also have my Nords to finish too. They're really fun models. They're good stuff. Like the Conquest team does a great job. And they just showed off the Weaver Quartz. I'm not really super into the Oni. I don't know why. I like some of the models a lot, but I don't know. Some of them did not speak to me. But man, them Weaver Quartz are cool. They're like demon plant people. It's like that's some cool shit. All right. Oh, there she goes. And we'll set her aside for now and let her dry, and then we'll be back. Okay, what do we want to do next? Um, let's do some grasses, actually, I think, because I kind of want to show that off a little bit, because I think this tree making method is really neat. So, I'm going to grab a box, so we're going to zoom out a little bit. Alright, there we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Elmer's glue, and I'm going to pop that in my palette. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take a little bit of water like I just did, and we're going to mix that into the Elmer's glue. Now, these things, let me move the box for now. These guys here are the plastic tree armatures that we made before, plus something from Woodland Scenics called polyfiber. And it's this kind of wishy, kind of swishy, kind of plant stuff. And honestly, it looks pretty cool on its own, I'm not going to lie. But if we hit it with some glue and then hit it with some flock, it should be really cool looking. So we're going to do a couple of these kind of like plant sections. I went super hard on the glow in this one. I think I'm going to go a little softer on the glow here, so that it's a little lighter looking. Because I like this one, like that looks like that kind of tree to me. But to be honest, I think I want the glow to be a little kind of lighter, a little kind of splotchier for this kind of tree here. Otherwise, I'm kind of afraid it's going to look like a whole bunch of Q-tips glued on a tray. So we'll check it out. I'm just kind of trying to hit a bunch of areas. Now, before that dries too much, what I'm going to do is we're going to hit it with the flock. Now, I do have that one piece of clump foliage that I had on there. Clump foliage is hard to get to stick to these things because I just do not have any luck with sticky tack. Like, what is it called? Like sticky glue? Tacky glue? I just don't have any luck with it at all. I don't know why. It just does not like me. So, like you could just use clump foliage probably and it would be just as good. But sticky glue or tacky glue, not my friend. Alright, so this is Blended Turf from Woodland Scenics. I'd like to get some other colors of this, but this stuff's hard to find on Amazon. My local store doesn't only carries this one. So I'm just kind of farting it out there onto the tray. Okay. Alright. We're going to tap her off. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Let's try that out the rest of the way. Alright. So yeah, just going to keep it going, I guess. So... yeah, there's a billion different ways to make trees. You really kind of have to find one that you like. The other trees I made previously from Dead Man's Hand, I did them with the clump foliage method, and it was such a gigantic pain in the tail. It was just such a pain. Me and sticky tack are not friends. So, like, yeah. That royally sucked, so. Um, But one of the best things about nature is that it's never uniform. Well, ironically, it's actually super uniform, but the uniformity is usually very hard to see. So, if these trees all vary a little, and they're slightly different kinds of trees, and they look slightly different as I try out different methods, honestly, that's just going to make a cooler looking forest in the end than having one method where other tree looks the same. So, yeah, I got this polyfiber idea from a channel called Dabs and Dice, which is pretty cool. It's a neat channel. I haven't seen any of their recent videos. I've kind of only seen their old ones. For whatever reason, they don't show up on my YouTube feed unless I like specifically search for some kind of terrain thing. Um, so we'll use up the rest of this glue and then we'll hit this guy. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I'm using polyfiber," and I'm like, "What is that? I've never seen that before." And yeah. All right. Now the point of using this box here is so in the end we can reclaim all of the turf that we're kind of wasting. As you can see, we're like kind of like shitting out a lot of it here, and it's just kind of going on the ground. We'll be able to pick it up later. So yeah, that's pretty cool again. That's coming out pretty good. I like that quite a bit. Yeah, that looks pretty sweet. Um, so what we'll also do is, just so I can show you guys, because I made these bases and I made the trees on camera before. They're actually a project from God, probably like 4 months ago. And I'm finally working up the energy to finish them. Um, but because I've done that part, I kind of want to do every step on camera. So I think we'll actually break out some polyfiber next, so I can show you how that works. And we'll do another set with the polyfiber real quick, because it's weird stuff. It's kind of like less metally, like iron wool. It's weird. It's like if you made iron wool out of plastic, like just really like this fibrous mess of nonsense. Now, obviously, these are going to need to get top coat and stuff still, so keep that in mind. Because while they're very dense right now, like they should be, um, it'll be doubly extremely well hold on even more once they have their top coat on them. Okay, last but not least, we got this guy. Well, I've got the fart grass out. I think we'll actually do two models bases real quick as well. Yeah, that's a pretty dope tree. I like that a lot. I really like the areas where I kind of have it going between, but like it's not doing that everywhere. I think that looks really neat. Right, like maybe parts of the tree have grown better than others. Yeah, I think that looks super cool. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, and we'll do another one like from scratch here in a little bit. But first I'd like to finish these guys as bases. So what do I have here? I've got some minis for Frostgrave. So I've got a little townsman who's like a butcher. Um, I just want his base to have a little grass on it so it matches all the other Frostgrave minis bases. That's all. And I just kind of boop it around, use it to help cover up that plinth that he came modeled on. And then I've got this guy who I thought looked. This guy's from the Guards kit. I thought he looked like a cool kind of. I don't know, like Temple, not Temple of Lost Doom, the Lost Ark, kind of like Crusader. So I wanted to paint him up like he's a ghost. I thought that was kind of cool. Um, yeah, I just thought it was kind of neat. I was like, oh, I bet I could come up with a cool little scenario around a ghost crusader, Like, I bet you could have a cool story about that. And the blacksmith, he's just going to be some NPC in the town, or we're going to use him as like a rescue or something like that. So, maybe we have to rescue a bunch of NPCs from some goblins or something. And yeah, I just thought he would be a cool one to have. But yeah, just little blobs of green on their base. It'll just tie them in with the rest of the Frostgrave minis. Alright, let's clean this up. I do have like one or two big chunks in here I want to pull out. Let me get those. Then, so the benefit of doing this in a gunpla box, by the way, they're nice and like malleable and not too thick. Oh, there we go. And for the record, I've had this thing blended turf. It was $14. I've had it for 2 years now. And this is all I've used, and I've used it to base so many goddamn minis. All my World War II stuff, tons of fantasy stuff, all my cowboy stuff. Just the amount you get in here is insane. Like, I legitimately think this bottle's gonna break before I use it all. But, yeah. Alright, let's play with that polyfiber a little, like I mentioned. Let me cover up my little watermelon. See what I did there? Yeah, it's my watermelon. The top broke off it though, which is kind of sad. It had like a little stem. It broke off. Alright, polyfiber. You get a good bag of this stuff for pretty cheap. Um, Here we go. Got another one of those forest bases we made. And we'll just do one of the trees so you guys can see how it works. So it's kind of weird stuff, to be honest. So you kind of just pull it apart. It's really fibrous-y. So what I've been doing, and there's probably better ways to do this, but what I've been doing is I've been kind of painting a little bit of Elmer's glue on the branches. Tacky glue would probably work better, but tacky glue is my nemesis. So I've just been painting a little bit of that on, and then kind of like just kind of stretching it over the area, sort of like that. And honestly, because these guys have little arms, and I kind of want them to poke out a little bit, I've just been kind of like sticking it on like that, and it works pretty good, to be honest. Like, it already looks like a kind of like a tree, which is pretty cool. Um, so yeah, it's kind of what all I've been doing with this. I'm actually really super mega happy with the results from the other ones. So I like this method a good bit. Like, if you want to like blank spots or something, you could totally just not stretch it over that area. Now, does this look as good as using like dried lichen or something? No, it doesn't. Um, But dried lichen is brittle AF and a giant pain in the tail to work with, at least in my opinion. So because of that, I don't really like using it. But it does make the coolest looking trees because you really do get a really nice like branch and kind of leaf structure because it has that by default. However, a strong wind will make it explode. So, yeah, and there we go. She's all done. Then we would hit her with flock after she's done drying. So, really, I could flock it now and it would be perfectly fine. But I kind of wanted to get all dried up first. So, all right. So let's see. I've got this little guy here. We'll put him, I don't know, in like this branch set maybe. You can see this polyfiber stuff is really cheap too. Which kind of shocked me because a lot of the wood and scenic stuff is expensive, like big time expensive. So when it was like $4 at the hobby store, I was like, what? Also, do you want me to go? I'm going to go on a little bit of a, I'm probably crazy rant, but I'm going to do it anyway. So there's a hobby store out here in Hawaii that is like a honest to goodness hobby store, right? Like model rockets, trains, that kind of shit, right? They sell some gunpla, they sell some model tanks, they sell, all the woodland scenic stuff because it's for model trains. You know what I mean? Like all this woodland scenic stuff is all like stuff wargamers have repurposed. Like woodland scenics does not make this for us; they make this for trained people. Which I don't mean to say that and sound judgy. Trained people, it's cool, right? Everyone who's neurodivergent, I feel like once they hit like 35, they have to decide what they're going to get into. Um, I got sucked into World War II, right? I know some people get sucked into trains, so no hate there. Um, yeah, so cool hobby store, nice little place. But holy shit, man, it used to look entirely different, and I swear it's in the same building. I don't think the actual location has changed. Like I think the location's the same, but like the inside is totally different. Like it's like a completely different building inside. And I feel crazy saying that aloud, right? Like that feels like, oh man, you're insane. But like they're in this little like shopping kind of area by the docks, right? And I swear they're in the same one they are, like the same unit, but like it's totally different inside. Like, and it's not like they remodeled or anything, because it's not new inside. Like it's old and nasty. Um, like not nasty, but you know what I mean. It's old and like kind of beat up inside, right? So like I don't know. It really broke my brain when I went in there again and the entire layout was like the same but different. It was almost like AI redrew the building from memory and missed some shit. That's what it felt like to me. It was really crazy. Um, but yeah, that probably sounds crazy to say aloud, but like I don't know. There used to be this whole section like behind the counter, and it's not there now, and it very weird, very weird, weird times. We all live in a simulation confirmed. Not really, but you know what I mean. It was weird. It was weird. I'm sure there's a logical explanation, right? Like I'm probably not really okay. Yeah, I'm probably really crazy, but I'm probably not crazy about this. I'm sure there's a logical explanation. But man, it threw my brain for a fucking loop. Because at first when I walked in, I was like, "Oh, I'm in the wrong store," and then I was like, "No, this is the right store." Yeah, really weird stuff. But like I said, there's probably a logical explanation, but very strange. The whole like building is different. All right. last but not least, we got this guy, and we'll just drag him along the tree like this. Yeah, just like that. There we go. And then after that's dry, we can flock it, and it'll be good. It should look pretty dope, just like the other one. So yeah, I'm really happy with how they came out. That looks pretty cool. Okay. Nice. All right. Cool beans. All right. Next up, 1 second. Gotta grab some more paints. All right. Pardon the sound. This one's got to hit the shaker. Okay. All right. Let's work on that dragon that we were looking at earlier. Also, hold on. Let's look at our building real quick that we worked on. Yeah, that water looks a lot nicer now. That looks much cooler. So once we put our, after we top coat it, once we put our gloss Mod Podge on there, like 3 to 5 layers of it, that's going to be hella dope. Yeah, big fan of that. Yeah, that looks super cool. I'm quite happy with that. I like all the little, like the granulations and stuff. All right, so let's look at our dragon real quick. So here's our dragon. Um, so I'm going to take him apart. I'll do a couple things to him. Um, one, I'm not super happy with the green section still. And two, I'm not happy with his horns. So I think we're going to work on the horns first. And what I'm going to do to the horns is, because his horns already are a couple layers of paint. So um, his horns are like a taupe kind of tan color. Um, and then I hit them with a strong tone mix, and then I did the bases in a watered down brown speed paint. And I'm really happy how that came out on like these spikes, for example. I think it looks really cool there. The watered down brown speed paint, I think is pretty dope there. I like it here on the back of the arms. And I don't like it on the horns. It's a little too much of a difference. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break out a light grayish green. Okay, maybe this is not a good one. Let me find a different one. Howling sand. Okay, here we go. Yeah, like this to me, this looks very tan to me, but I guess it is right. I guess does have like a green to it. So, all right. So instead of that, we'll do howling sand. Like this tan here. We'll do that one instead. So. Now I kind of actually want to add a drop of speed paint or two to speed paint medium to that. Speed paint medium is like my new friend. I use it in fucking everything. So 2 drops of that to 3 drops of this to the color. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just hit every part of the horn with this. Um, just like cover the whole horn in it and see if it like ties the colors together a little better, you know, because it's going to be very runny at first, and then we'll see what it looks like once it dries. And, you know, if it makes the horns a different color from the other like horn kind esque pieces, like the claws and stuff, that's fine. It's this thing is made out of multiple pieces of multiple animals kind of put together, so I mean it's got a freaking what are they called? Um it's got a freaking scorpion tail, okay? So yeah. So this scorpion color, I'm pretty happy with this. I think it could be cooler. I think it does look very scorpion-y though. Um, yeah, I think it looks kind of cool. Okay, the other thing I want to do is I'm not super happy with this green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab Eternal Green, and we're going to just do some kind of spot, like pseudo, um, like pseudo volumetric painting on this, I think is what my plan is. So, like not exactly highlights, but like, you know, I think we're going to try to get some parts of it kind of called out. And I think once it dries, it'll look pretty cool. Now I think it's going to be a little intense going one. And that's why I'm deciding to start on down here on the foot, because the foot is much easier to repair if I screw it up, alright, than the entirety of the body. So, yeah. Just going to kind of go around. I threw some speed paint medium in this, not because I particularly want it to behave like speed paint, but just because I wanted it to be a little thinner. And I could have used water for that. I could have used like a mixing medium, but I had this here on the desk, so we'll see how she works out. Yeah. We'll just give her a minute. The end result's probably going to be chalky a little bit, but I think I'm okay with that. So we'll give that a minute. Just thinking if there's anything else I want to do to the blue arm, because he's also got a blue foot. Is there anything else I want to do to the blue arm? Not really. Not really, I don't think. Sorry, he's off camera. Derp. There we go. Yeah, the blue foot's it's a little dark, but I don't know. I don't think it's bad. So there are also, while there's only one body for all these guys to connect to, there's all kinds of pieces. Like, hold on a sec. Let's see. Huh. Damn, I thought I had the bag of pieces right there. I guess I don't. But yeah, he's got all kinds of other pieces you can put on there, like big robot parts, stuff that looks like an angler fish, all kinds of stuff. All right, how's our head looking? Yeah, see, I like that a lot better. That looks much nicer, right? The difference in the horn is much calmer and more chill there. That's really nice. Yeah, that's good stuff. We'll keep that going. Yeah, and it doesn't match these, but that's okay because it doesn't need to. I mean, I guess I could hit these with the thing, but I kind of like that they're different. I think that's interesting. Um, okay, how's our arm looking? Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It's got a little bit more like, green body to it than this does. Yeah, yeah, I like that. A little more kind of brightness to it. That's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and let's actually do that for the whole body then. Yeah, we'll start down here on his belly and his junk. The Dragon Trevor's Lodge model actually doesn't have junk. I added junk because that's what I do. It drives me bonkers when people try to make creatures and they don't give them junk. Like that's a real creature. It should have a dong or it should have some creature lady parts. You know what I mean? Like while I prefer my creatures to be a sausage fest, they all don't have to be. You know, you could have lady creatures. This could be a mommy dragon. That's fine. Um, but yeah, so that's why he's got a little bit of junk there. Now he is a dragon, so some of that probably should be internal, but meh. That was more fun to have junk than to just be like, here's where his junk hides. Although technically it's still anyway. I won't get too deep into way too many thoughts about dragon junk, but yeah, that's all just to say that the default model doesn't have it. Okay. Like some areas are definitely a little more green than others. But we'll see as she dries how it looks, and then we can go back and clean it up. Um, I'm quite happy with how the foot looks, so yeah. Faith that I'm gonna like this too. Try to make it a little bit lighter in the upper of the back than the lower part of the back, maybe, or the lower parts of the body. Maybe we'll try to make it a little bit brighter green up the top. Get some make-believe highlighting in there. But yeah, this model would be awesome if you wanted to do like a Frostgrave campaign or something where you had like a villain who had a pet dragon and you'd like repeatedly battle it and you could give it different stats and stuff every time you ran into it because you'd give it like different arms and heads and stuff, you know? Maybe it would have different special effects. Like I think that would be a really cool setup for like a maybe a like Mortal Enemies campaign or something. Like maybe your enemy's warband is like a dragon and like one or two mooks and that's like it. I think that could be pretty cool. It'd just be a fun, I don't know, fun gimmick, I guess. You know what I mean? I think that Mortal Enemy stuff really lends itself to having like interesting gimmicks for each of the bad guys. You know, you'd have to like house roll those, but I think it really lends itself to that. You know, making almost like superhero villains kind of. And yeah, I think he's coming along pretty good. I like that quite a bit. We'll put some extra green up here on the top, so he does have a little bit of a difference between the top and the bottom. Um, Even if it's very slight, because I didn't think about it quick enough off the bat. But yeah, I think a little bit of modulation on that looks pretty darn cool. And if we put them all together, da-da-da-da. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I like the updates to the horns that we made, and I think the little bit of stippling on the body is nice. You think it gives us some kind of variation. It looks a little chalky, but it's all going to tie in once he gets top coated. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. Wonderful model from Dragon Traverse Lodge. They are, there's too many goddamn good 3D printing companies nowadays. There's too many of them. But yeah, so I'm at about an hour, and I'm really low energy, so I'm probably going to call it. So we're probably not going to get to battletech today. And hopefully next week we'll actually get to play some Frostgrave. Hopefully I'll be feeling good enough to do that. I won't just kind of lay in my bed and think about Doom for 2 hours without getting out of bed. So, you know. So hopefully we have a better time. But this is our dragon that we updated some of his painting on. And then we did some grasses on these two homies here. And then we did the polyfiber on these trees. We showed how that works. And we did the flocking on one of these trees as well to show the end result of the polyfiber. And yeah, there's little white bits in there. Those will dry clear once the glue dries, but so you won't see them. But yeah, that's freaking cool. Oh yeah, we did some color modulation stippling on this to make the water look nicer, and then we did a little bit of verdigris on the pipe as well. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Well, hopefully next time we are playing Frostgrave, because I really want to get some more Frostgrave in. It's really fun. Um, but yeah, I hope everybody has a good day. Hope you enjoyed. I'm happy I got my camera fixed. That's why we didn't play Frostgrave last weekend, is because this camera was on the fritz, but I got it fixed. So, but yeah, hopefully everyone had a good time. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I'll be back streaming next weekend as well. And I hope you have a good one.